Every parent wants the best for their child, a future filled with happiness, success, and most importantly, closeness to Allah. But what if, without realizing it, you are making mistakes that could ruin your child's future, not just in this world, but in the hereafter? Islam teaches us that parenting is an amana, a trust from Allah, and with that trust comes responsibility. The Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, warned us about certain actions that can severely harm our children's spiritual and emotional well-being. In this video, we'll uncover 5 critical parental sins, commonly overlooked yet dangerously impactful. These are not cultural opinions or parenting trends. These are clear Islamic warnings that every parent must hear. If you love your child, stay with us until the end. What you learn today could protect them for a lifetime and beyond. 1. Neglecting Salah, the foundation of faith. One of the gravest mistakes parents can make is neglecting their own Salah or failing to ensure their children observe it. Salah is the second pillar of Islam and the first act we will be questioned about on the Day of Judgment. When a parent does not prioritize prayer, it silently teaches the child that Salah is optional or unimportant. This early negligence can lead to a lifelong disconnect from Allah. Children naturally imitate what they see. If a child grows up watching parents delay or skip prayers, they internalize this behavior. On the other hand, if they regularly see their parents making wudu, praying on time, and treating Salah with reverence, it becomes part of their identity. Moreover, the spiritual benefit of Salah is beyond comprehension. It serves as a protection against sin, a source of inner peace, and a direct connection to the Creator. A home where prayer is established becomes spiritually illuminated, while one where it is abandoned becomes vulnerable to darkness, both emotionally and morally. Parents must take an active role, not only praying themselves, but teaching their children the value, method, and timing of Salah from an early age. This includes waking them gently for Fajr, praying together as a family, and praising their efforts. The goal is not just habit, but love and reverence for the act. The Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, said, "Command your children to pray when they are 7, and discipline them for it at 10. Abu Dawud. This hadith is not about harshness, but consistency and commitment. Missing this duty is not just a parenting error, it's a spiritual failure that may cost the child both in this life and the next. 2. Being unjust. Planting seeds of resentment and division. Justice is a divine quality, and Allah commands it in every relationship, especially within the family. When parents are unjust, particularly among their children, they unknowingly plant deep wounds that can last a lifetime. Favoritism, unequal treatment, or constantly comparing one child to another can break hearts and damage the very trust that binds a family together. Injustice may appear in subtle ways, praising one child constantly while overlooking another's efforts, giving more time or attention to one while neglecting others, or punishing one harshly while excusing another's similar behavior. Even material gifts given unequally without explanation can leave a child feeling unloved or inferior. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam clearly warned against such behavior. In an authentic narration, he refused to be a witness when a man gave a gift to one child and not the others, stating, "Fear Allah and be just with your children." Bukhari and Muslim. This shows how seriously Islam takes fairness within the home. The emotional damage caused by injustice can manifest in many ways: jealousy, low self-worth, sibling rivalry, or even rebellion against the family structure. A child who feels less valued may grow distant, not just from the parent, but from faith itself, questioning Allah's justice because of the injustice they saw at home. Justice doesn't mean treating every child exactly the same in every situation, but giving each what is rightfully theirs based on their needs, circumstances, and rights. Wise parents recognize each child's unique strengths and struggles and respond accordingly with fairness, love, and wisdom. By being just, parents mirror one of Allah's greatest attributes, Al-Adl, the just, and create a home filled with balance, peace, and mutual respect. 3. Using harsh language, wounding hearts with words. One of the most overlooked yet damaging parental sins is the habitual use of harsh, demeaning, or abusive language toward children. Words have immense power. They can uplift a soul or crush it. In Islam, the tongue is a tool to be used with care and wisdom, and the Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, emphasized gentle speech, even in times of correction. Constant yelling, name-calling, insults, and sarcastic remarks do not build obedience or respect. Instead, they breed fear, resentment, and emotional scars. A child raised with hurtful words may begin to believe they are worthless, incapable, or unloved. This emotional damage can extend into adulthood, affecting their confidence, relationships, and even their connection with Allah. Children are sensitive by nature. They absorb what is said to them and about them. A moment of uncontrolled anger can leave a lasting impression. The Quran warns believers to speak kindly, especially to the vulnerable, and speak to people good words. Surah Al-Baqarah 283. If this is commanded for strangers, how much more so for our own children? Discipline does not require cruelty. The Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, even in correcting others, maintained dignity and compassion. He never cursed, nor did he belittle those around him. Parents must strive to emulate this prophetic character, especially during moments of stress or frustration. Instead of using harsh words, constructive dialogue, patience, and positive reinforcement should be the tools of parenting. Criticism should be specific and behavior-focused, not a personal attack on the child's worth or character. Words can either become du'as that encourage growth or daggers that wound the soul. A wise parent chooses their words as carefully as their actions, knowing that every phrase shapes the heart of the child and ultimately their future in both worlds. 4. Ignoring Islamic education. Raising souls with empty foundations. A critical mistake many parents make is prioritizing worldly education while neglecting their child's Islamic upbringing. While academic success is important, it must not come at the cost of spiritual ignorance. A child who excels in school but knows nothing of Allah, the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or the teachings of Islam may achieve material success but remain spiritually lost. Islamic education is not limited to memorizing a few verses or attending weekend classes. It involves nurturing iman, faith, instilling love for Allah and His Messenger, teaching the purpose of life, and guiding children to live as righteous Muslims in a complex world. Without this foundation, children grow up with no moral compass rooted in the Quran and Sunnah, leaving them vulnerable to confusion, sin, and peer pressure. The Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, said, "Each of you is a shepherd, and each of you is responsible for his flock." Bukhari and Muslim. As shepherds of the home, parents must lead their children toward knowledge that benefits them in the hereafter. Delaying or minimizing Islamic teachings often results in children reaching adulthood with weak or misguided understandings of Deen. Moreover, love for Islamic knowledge begins at home. When children see their parents value the Quran, speak of Allah, and practice Islam sincerely, they are inspired to seek that light for themselves. Enrolling them in Islamic studies, encouraging good companions, and making the home a place where Allah is remembered are all vital steps. In a time when children are constantly exposed to harmful ideologies, the lack of strong Islamic grounding can be disastrous. True success lies in raising children who recognize their Creator, love their faith, and live with purpose. Ignoring their Islamic education is not neutrality, it's neglect, with consequences far beyond this life. 5. Setting a bad example. Leading by actions, not just words. One of the most damaging yet often unnoticed parental sins is failing to live by the values one teaches. Children learn far more from what they observe than from what they are told. When there is a gap between a parent's words and actions, it breeds confusion, hypocrisy, and loss of trust. Islam places immense emphasis on sincerity and consistency, especially within the family. A parent who advises their child to be honest, yet lies in front of them, whether on the phone or in daily dealings, teaches dishonesty. One who tells their child to be respectful, but uses foul language or disrespects others, sends a conflicting message. Over time, the child stops taking those words seriously and may even rebel against them. In the Quran, Allah strongly warns against preaching what one does not practice. Do you order righteousness of the people and forget yourselves while you recite the scripture? Will you not reason? Surah Al-Baqarah 244. This verse reflects how accountability begins with the self. Children see their parents as role models. If they see sincerity, humility, prayer, patience, and truthfulness, they are more likely to absorb these qualities naturally. But if they witness deceit, negligence in faith, backbiting, or injustice, they begin to accept these traits as normal. Being a good example doesn't mean being perfect. It means striving for goodness with honesty. When parents admit mistakes, seek forgiveness, and try to improve, they teach humility and growth. These are powerful life lessons. Ultimately, a parent's actions shape a child's character and relationship with Islam. Living a life of integrity and practicing what one preaches is not only a moral obligation, it's a legacy. A bad example can misguide, but a good one can echo righteousness through generations. Thank you for watching and reflecting on these important parental responsibilities. Remember, as parents, we hold a great trust from Allah to raise righteous, confident, and faithful children. May Allah guide us all to be the best examples and protectors for our children's futures, in this life and the hereafter. If this video benefited you, please like, share, and subscribe to Ineer Deen for more valuable Islamic reminders. Before you go, please comment below with this dua. O Allah, bless my children with faith, health, and success in both worlds. Your dua could inspire others too.